Recording?
Imagine what has happened.
Come on, man, looks like we're gonna die today.
But we see the effects.
The war's over. Get over it, man. You're home now.
That's what you say every time. You don't know what's going on with me. You have no idea what I've been through.
I don't even know you anymore. It's just like the other day when you didn't come home.
Come on, Mike.
Folks, it's one thing to heal from a wound, but it's another thing to heal the mind. It's a never-ending battle that my next guest knows all too well, but he's winning it day by day. Here now, former U.S. Marine and author of Never-Ending Battle After Iraq, A Marine's Road to Recovery, Brian Carpenter. Brian, thanks for being with me tonight.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Brian, I also want to thank you for your service, because I don't think that you hear it enough. So let me be the one to tell you today, thank you for everything that you've done for this country.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So, Brian, when we talk about PTSD, I'm friends with a lot of people that are in the military, and before they go on deployments, they always tell me, I never think I'm going to get PTSD. That will never happen to me. Did you ever think that it would happen to you?
That's what I thought going in, and then even when I was in the hospital after the roadside bomb, I didn't believe I had it because I was expecting to see all the stuff that I'd seen or do the stuff that I had to do, so it wasn't really a shocker that what I had to do was going to affect me.
I want to talk about your path as well, and give my viewers a little bit of history and background on what you went through and what you sustained when you were in Iraq. Could you tell us that story?
Yes, I had a roadside bomb. Well, I actually hit two through the first 3 months I was there. I hit one on Easter, which is a small bomb, and my big one was on June 6, 2006, and that put me in a 2.5-week coma. They nicked me for a carotid artery on scene. And they emergency trachea on scene, they nicked my carotid artery. And then I woke up from my coma and I had a 6-unit blood transfusion, which the body only holds 12 to 14 units. So I technically lost half my blood. And then I woke up with 7 broken vertebrae in my lower back, a severe traumatic brain injury, shattered my pelvis in 5 different areas, and shattered my right ankle. I have no use of my left foot, where I have to wear AFO because I can't lift my left foot to walk. And I broke the bottom piece of my sternum called the xiphoid process, which they just cut that out and it was fine. And then other than that, it's just little minor stuff.
I don't think any of that is minor, but Brian, just hearing you talk about this, I'm reminded again about the service and sacrifice of our service members. And I guess, I don't want to go into a tangent, but that really is why it burns my ass when I see folks like Colin Kaepernick that don't feel it necessary to stand for the anthem or salute the flag. It's because folks like you and what you go through for this country and what that flag means to you. But I won't get into that because this is about you. It's not about Kaepernick, Lord knows. So
I do want to commend Kaepernick on exercising his rights and freedoms that we fought for him.
and I appreciate that as well. I appreciate his right to do it. I just find it rather disgusting. But, that's my personal opinion. I'm allowed to have that as well. I want to talk about PTSD, though, because you sustained actual injuries from an IED explosion. But it's when you came home, the PTSD that comes along with it. What is that like, and how do you overcome it?
My whole life is a coping strategy. I've been being seen for PTSD therapy since day one from the hospital till now. I continue to get treatment, and I keep trying to work on myself. And my main thing is laughter and sarcasm. That is the most therapy you can do, or writing this book even. This was the most therapeutical thing I could do in your life, is write everything down on a piece of paper. So you relive everything, you relive moments, you relive thoughts and feelings and events and situations, and it's kind of therapy on yourself to think back on what you should have done and how you reacted and how it should have been different. And then even, like, say, four-wheelers, that's one thing I enjoy in life, is to go out and ride four-wheelers. So I do that all the time. And I always have to have the best four-wheeler on the market out of the group. So I'm always trying to attack things that help me keep my mind off the PTSD.
And that's so important, and that positive attitude that you have is really inspirational to me as well. It's very hard when we go through our daily lives, and those of us that have never been to battle, we feel sorry for ourselves over little things, complain about the weather, complain about what have you, and those folks like yourself that have such a positive attitude, it really is inspirational. But Veteran suicide is also a big problem, and that's in many cases related to PTSD. I think the statistic is 22 a day. Whether or not that's accurate, I'm not entirely sure, but we know that suicide within the veteran community is a problem. So as someone that's been through PTSD, that's struggling with it every day, what can we do on the governmental level or even as citizens to try to reduce that number of suicides in the veteran community?
I mean, I was almost in the same shoes when I was first coming out of the hospital and getting retired from the Marines. My dreams were shattered. I wanted to be a Marine for 20 plus years. And when they kicked me out and life took a turn on me to where I had no dreams, I had nothing to push me, and I just didn't care about life, I didn't care about myself. So I made some bad decisions in life back at the beginning, and I was almost one of them, almost took his life because society, it's so hard for us to fit into society. It's so hard for people to accept us in society, get alone, me holding a relationship with friends or relationships with girls or relationships with families. I avoided a lot because people can't stand me because of my anger and aggression. It's like I'm always a drill instructor and I'm always very aggressive when it comes to anything I need change or anything I think that needs to be changed. And it's just trying to hard to fit in. That's the worst thing out there.
And it's also, there's a stigma that surrounds it as well. You know, I've spoken to many veterans that were in the same boat as you that contemplated suicide, and they felt as though it's not something that they could discuss. It's not something that they could openly talk about. It made you a baby. It made you a sissy. You're taught in the Marine Corps as well as the United States military to kind of swallow your feelings sometimes. So I think it's important that you've written this book and that you are talking about it. But something that I've heard from friends of mine that have deployed, and when they come back and I say, what is it like, even if you haven't sustained an injury, what is it like to come back into civilian life? And what they tell me the most frustrating part is when they come back and they're around civilians, and civilians, like I said, are complaining or moaning over little things in life when they've been through so much. So what have you done to reintegrate back into society and be around, citizens and civilians that haven't gone through what you've gone through?
I'm talking about it. Yes, we're supposed to be emotionally numb. We're only supposed to attack with anger and aggression. Anything we show is anger and aggression. That's how we were trained in boot camp. That's how we're trained to be as a Marine. And it's hard to come back to civilian life after the government has trained us that hardcore to turn into war machines and turn into emotionally numb, can do anything in the world, to come back to society where people have feelings and emotions and sad things, good things, bad things. It's hard for us to get them emotions back to feel, so it's hard to have sympathy. It's hard to have empathy because when people complain about headache, people complain about not having a full 8 hours sleep, people complain they didn't get to eat enough, people don't have this, they had a bad day at work, and we're like, okay, well, try to live a week in our shoes in Iraq, and then turn around, come home and complain.
Yeah, that's something we should all remember, and it's something that I try to remind myself as well. Last question for you. Going through what you've gone through, if you could go back in time, would you enlist in the Marine Corps and do it all over again?
Actually, yes. I still beg every time I get evaluated or I go back into evaluations of some sort. I beg, just let me do recruiter duty or I just want to be a Marine. I want to go back. If I go back to Iraq, if I can go back to war, I'd be there in a heartbeat. But if I could rewind time, I wouldn't change nothing. I'd let it all go through the way it did, and I'm very happy where I ended up 10 years later. And yeah, so that's my patriotism.
Brian, thank you for sharing your story with me, and again, thank you for your service and your sacrifice.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And still